We have some major breaking news that has been announced that Jack Wood will not run the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Richmond Raceway. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news this early afternoon, as it has been announced that Jack Wood will not run the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Richmond Raceway due to suffering injury. Here was a statement from McAnally Hilgeman Racing today. Jack Wood will not compete in Friday's race at Richmond Raceway for precautionary measures due to an injury he sustained at Watkins Glen International. The number 91 entry has also been withdrawn from the event. An update on Wood's status will be announced at a later date. If you, of course, watched the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Watkins Glen, you saw a very ferocious crash that took place about halfway through the truck race. So on lap number 37 of the event, coming to the end of stage number 2, Jack Wood was running up, I believe, around the top 20 or top 25 of the race, and then he unfortunately had a flat tire, I believe, going up into turn number 2. I think he hit the inside wall really hard in an area where there was no safety barrier up there, and he came back across the racetrack, and I think he hit the outside wall as well. The reason for that is because he had a suspension issue, and he unfortunately had a flat tire at that point as well. Because of that, they are having precautionary measures to make sure that he can get healed up as quick as possible. That is now 2 injuries that we have seen from this past weekend at Watkins Glen. The other one obviously being Connor Zilch, who unfortunately suffered a collarbone injury, had a broken collarbone after winning the Xfinity Series race at Watkins Glen, where he unfortunately fell off the car, had a broken collarbone. It's unknown when he'll be back behind the race car. He might not race Daytona. Who knows at this point? The first thing I want to say is I'm wishing Jack Wood the best. Hope he can recover very soon. We don't know exactly the injuries at this point, but I think especially after Watkins Glen at a track like Richmond, where it is a short track, so the hits are not going to be as hard. But what if you have like a flat tire, for instance, and you hit the outside wall really hard? That still is going to be a really hard hit. So I think that they are making the right decision to go ahead and sit Jack Wood out for this weekend. This also will remove Jack Wood's playoff eligibility because, of course, he won't be running Richmond. But let's be real and honest, he was going to have to win the race anyways, and I'm not surprised if they're sitting him out for this week because of that. And it's really been a struggle for Jack Wood this season. I really thought Jack was going to have a decent chance and opportunity, considering McAnally Hilgeman Racing last year was really strong and really good. It seems like that whole organization's taken a little bit of a step backwards this year when it comes to performance on the racetrack, and hopefully that team can get back up to speed a little bit. Now, some are wondering why they've withdrawn the number 91 truck at this point. Obviously, they were going to run 4 or 5 trucks to begin with. You, of course, got Tyler Ankrum as full-time, who I believe is in the playoffs currently at the moment because of that win he had at Rockingham. You obviously have Connor Mosack in the 81 truck. Connor's been not great for the most part this year. Sure, he's had a couple good runs here and there, but he's been definitely one of the biggest disappointments in the truck series this year. And then they're bringing in another truck this year for Christian Eckes. They were supposed to run 5 trucks originally. They could have technically moved Christian Eckes over to the 91 truck. That certainly could have been a possibility, but I think they want to do it out of respect for Jack Wood, which I completely respect them for doing that. I don't think there would have been anybody available for the team to use at that point. That's why I think they've gone ahead and withdrawn Jack Wood from the event. Nonetheless, kind of shocking news to hear that Jack Wood is out for this week, and I hope he can get better really soon. I think the Truck Series has a couple weeks off, if I'm not mistaken. I think their next race is Darlington, so he could return to Darlington perhaps, but it's going to be dependent on how quick he decides to come back. I think after Darlington, I don't think they're running Gateway, I'm pretty sure, because I think they got that transferred over to New Hampshire. Of course, they have Bristol Motor Speedway. That's a track he could come back to as well, but it wouldn't surprise me or shock me he's out for at least a couple weeks at this point. But I'm really hoping for Jack that he can get back to the racetrack as soon as possible. The most important thing for Jack is to make sure he can get healed up as quick as possible and get back into the car as soon as he can. And hopefully he can get back behind the wheel of the truck as soon as possible. But for him, depending on what the injuries exactly are, which I'm not exactly sure what they are, as they didn't reveal exactly what injuries were in the statement earlier today, hopefully he can recover very soon and get back behind the wheel. I would expect he'll be back before the end of the season, more than likely at this point. I just think that they're making the right decision, especially after a hard hit. There were a couple really big, nasty hits. Ben Rhodes had kind of a bad wreck at Watkins Glen. You had some guys hit the tire barriers over there at Watkins Glen. That truck race is absolutely wild and really chaotic. And it's unfortunate what happened here for Jack Woods. Hopefully he can recover very soon and get back behind the wheel. Hey, maybe he'll get the same thing happen to Connor, where Connor broke his back and then he came back and was very successful from that point for the remainder of the season. So once again, hopefully he can recover very soon, that being Jack Wood, and get back behind the wheel of the Craftsman Truck Series number 91 truck. I'd like to see Jack have some really good speed to end off the 2025 year. It'd be cool to see him do well because, like I've already mentioned before, it has been a big struggle for Jack Wood this season, and that number 91 91 truck. There just really hasn't been a lot of pace and a lot of speed for the program, and I think it'd be really cool to see Jack have an opportunity. I've never been the biggest fan of Jack Wood. I don't think Jack is a great driver by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think he's the worst driver ever raced in the sport, but there just hasn't been that big performance. I think a lot of us were kind of expecting from him. He did okay in ARCA last year in the select race he ran. It just hasn't seemed like it's really worked out. Kind of struggled at KBM a couple years back in 2023, and I really never fully understood why he got the full-time ride in the first place after struggling in ARCA West. But nonetheless, for him, I hope he can recover very soon and get back to the racetrack as soon as possible, because I want to see someone that, I think hopefully can run well. Hope he can come back as soon as possible. Again, that's the most important thing, is hoping he can recover as soon as possible and get back in behind the wheel of that car. So we'll see what happens for Jack, how long he'll be out. We don't know exactly what the timetable is, and as more information comes out, we'll discuss it here on the channel. But I think they're making the right decision. This means that there will only be 35 trucks that are running the Craftsman Truck Series race as well, because if you probably saw yesterday, Norm Benning has also withdrawn from the Truck Series event. That means there are only 35 trucks. We had a full field. We thought we were going to have people going home this weekend. Unfortunately, that will not be the case, as 2 trucks have withdrawn from the event. It's disappointing for Norm to not run the race as well, but nonetheless, Jack Wood will not run the Truck Series race this weekend at Richmond. Hope he can recover soon and get back behind the racetrack car and race this in the future. I'd like to see him hopefully have some success. We'll see what happens in the future. We'll see if he does get back behind the wheel as soon as possible. It just depends on what exactly the injuries are. We'll wait for more updates and information to come out as time progresses and goes on. So that is going to be today's special breaking news report on Jack Wood not being racing this weekend in the Truck Series race at Richmond. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go to below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. We'll send your ball wishes out to Jack Wood at this point. Hopefully it is a speedy recovery so Jack can be back behind the wheel of the race truck and the car as soon as possible. We are going to have the painting video dropping here in about an hour or so from now. We'll take a look at all the paintings for this weekend's NASCAR Cup and Craftsman Truck Series race at Richmond. If there's any other major news that breaks later today, we'll discuss it live on the channel. Tomorrow we're going to have a NASCAR news video early in the morning. We got some Colleague Dodge rumors we're going to be talking about. We'll talk about Justin Haley's uncertain future over there at Spire Motorsports and the uncertain future of that team. We're also going to, of course, be doing the Truck Series race review from Richmond as well, talk about who makes the playoffs from that event, and you also will have the Cup qualifying reactions as well. Then, of course, on Saturday, we'll have the NASCAR Cup Series race review and the starting lineup video for the Cookout 400, and we also on Sunday will likely have a 2026 NASCAR silly season predictions. I am doing Xfinity Series silly season predictions potentially in the next couple weeks as well, as more of that kind of starts to heat up. That might be coming out as early as Tuesday potentially this week. We'll just have to kind of wait and see on that front what will happen there. We got a lot of great content dropping next week's Daytona. We're going to have playoff predictions for the Cup Series for 2025 coming out really soon as well, and other good content of people like Haley Deegan, Shane Gisborne, Carlos, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Clay Savon, Dodge Ram, Colleague, Will Brown, Brock Feeney, Cam Waters, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott. All the good stuff will drop on the channel soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.